Right. Welcome to Arbor and Blades in the Dark. There has been some modifications to certain things that I will explain as we go along, and I will explain how character creation works for those of you who either don't remember or for who are first-time players. I also coughed my lungs out, apparently. Right, so you should see on the right-hand side in your character tab, you've got players 2, and then each of you has a character that you have ownership of. It should be fairly clear as to which one's which.
So mine's Mike's character, right?
Yeah, of course. As long as you've logged in on the correct accounts as well, that's also the key bit here. Because if one of you is logged in on an account that isn't yours, then that's going to make some problems. But as long as that's not true, so we'll go through the characters really quickly. So the first thing you need to probably do is choose a playbook. And playbooks, in this context, it will say class. Playbooks are basically like your class. They're like how you interact with the world and the way you do that. And not only just how you interact, but how you gain experience as well. There are 7 playbooks that you can choose from today. If you click the class button or the class name, it will show more than that. There are some in that list that I do not want you to choose. They are complicated. They require extra bits and pieces. So the ones I would like to look at are Cutter, Hound, Leech, Lurk, Slide, Spider, and Whisper. So ignoring the Ghost, the Vampire. There's another one.
Hull.
Third one. Hull, yeah. Those 3 are very steeped in the Duskfall lore anyways, because they're about ghosts and shit. While there are ghosts in Arbor, it's not quite the same. It doesn't work. It doesn't work as well.
What 3 were banned again, sorry?
Ghost, Hull, and Vampire.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
Yeah. So I will explain briefly.
Just to confirm, Whisper is allowed because that mentions ghosts. Which is why I would...
So Whisper is allowed, but Whisper is in the context of Arbor is your connection to the tree, the Great Tree.
Okay. Cool.
So same thing. Powers work a little differently, but broadly speaking, yeah. It's the Whisper is the magic class. it's the best way of putting it. So the Cutter is they're your basic brawler. They fight, they punch, they cut, they do things. Hound is you're good at tracking things down and long distance combats. They use guns, so steam pistols in this case, or the stun Levinstone stuff as well. Leech is good at using alchemy and wrecking stuff with sabotage. Lurks are your classic rogues. A Slide is good at social situations and subterfuge. A Spider is masterminds and maneuvers, and then Whispers are your magic classes. So choose one of those first, and it will do a bunch of setup basically on its own, I think.
Do people have preferences, or?
And does it matter if you pick the same one?
Yeah, that's a more relevant question. Oh, okay.
The game is structured in a way that it does not matter.
I was literally about to create Leech and then realised I'm accidentally recreating Misty, so going with my backup idea. And I'm gonna...
I was also thinking Leech, because I want to play Misty.
Yeah, I'm not picking Leech.
I was going to go Whisper.
Yeah, that's fine.
Almost clicked on Ghost. That's not what I wanted.
I've almost never picked the non-magic class.
You said it would do a whole bunch of setup. I've clicked it and nothing else has
Then
happened.
you click Add at the bottom. When the one you wanted to highlight, do you then click Add? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
still, it's added Whisper, but nothing
Yeah,
else.
it's
fine.
added. It's added.
That's fine. They've changed the way this works. Okay, that's fine. I know how to do the other bit. I know how to do it manually, anyways. So that you've chosen your class basically, how you interact with the. You click the class itself. Now it's on the character sheet. It will give you like a short description, and it gives you like the XP, like how you gain XP. Because in Blades in the Dark, the way you gain XP is you do the thing that your class is good at, and you will gain XP for it. There are some other ways as well. I don't necessarily know if we'll get into the other bits and pieces. We definitely will not get into traumas or vice. We might get into vice stuff, but we won't get into beliefs drives. We might get into it varies. They're a bit tricky. But the main one you do is you address, like, for instance, if you're Hound, addressing a challenge with tracking or violence will get you XP. If you're Cutter, I think it's very similar. Um, but yeah, so a lot of them are like violence or doing the thing your class is good at will net you XP.
Cool.
Right. So the next thing you need to choose, so we actually go up in the thing, is a vice. And can be like, this might come up into play. I don't know if it will, but it's like what your character does to restore themselves after a job, essentially. Because this is the only way you can regenerate stress. Blades and Dark doesn't have a mechanic like a long rest. It has, at the end of a job, you do a stress-reducing vice interaction, which reduces your thing, and you can choose one of the 7, I think it is. Don't need to think too hard about it, but it helps inform how your character interacts with various things. So, like, for instance, if you have stupor or pleasure, maybe, you are more likely to be like alcoholic and those kinds of things. Faith, it could just be that you visit a church. Gambling is fairly obligation is kind of like there's some descriptions like you go visit orphanages afterwards, and that kind of stuff. And then weird can be all kinds of strange shit that falls into that category.
Okay.
I think I have a description somewhere on the wiki as well, because I added a bunch of them, but don't worry too much about that.
Cool.
But
So all picked.
cool. A background is a good thing to have as well. This is where your character came from, or where their origins are before they became a criminal, before they descended into the, or maybe they were always there. Maybe they always started out in the underworld. But there could be like trade, noble, military, law, labor, and academic. I know roughly which each company would fall under all of those categories as well. So you could be like a former cop, in which case you'd probably be either military or law, depending on which side of where your philosophies lie, I believe is what the best way of putting that is.
What is the difference between a cop for law and military then? Is it the level of enthusiasm with regards to arresting people?
It's more about your personal philosophies on what you think the cops really are, in terms of are they law or are they military?
Right. Okay.
In the context of Arbor, they are more of an occupying force. They seek to enforce the status quo and nothing more. They are not there to serve and protect. Much like the American police.
I didn't want to say.
Oh, there's some fucking rocks there. There we go. Cool. That's an easy one to do. That's fine. And then you can click each of the ones. You click the names, and then it will show up and say, "This is what I've got from various things."
So what names where?
If you click the names, the background, like you click the background name.
Oh right.
It will give you some more descriptions and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to worry about heritage at all, because it doesn't really matter in this context, because it won't give you the ones that you should have. But think about, is your character human, touched, goblinoid? I always forget the name for the small people. Small people or shit. The fourth one, beastkin. Those are the 5 that you could potentially be. And just keep that in the back of your mind. So might not come up, but it's just a good way of character building. So, with that out of the way, choose your vice, record your details. Choose the background. Cool. Right. So it should. The annoying thing is, I really wish it would have done the thing that it was supposed to do. Horatio McSweeney.
Hello.
So each of the classes starts with dots in each of them. So I'll do Horatius first. So you start with there and there. Okay, and then Mike has the Hound. There's the Hound. Hunt and survey. Okay, and then Clave, Whisper. This one's easy to find because it's the last one on the list. Ah, there it is. Whisper. Study and attune. Study and attune. Cool. Right. So now you may place up to 4 dots in any of the categories you want. Each dot will get you 1 dice when you're rolling any tests. You succeed with no complications on a 6. You succeed with complications on a 4 and a 5, and you fail on a 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. What roughly do the different things do?
So if we go down the list, to give you an idea, one of the things that's very different about Blades in the Dark is you call for the action that you're trying to do. You call for the thing. So you say, I want to hunt this thing. It's pretty obvious I'm using hunt. Hunt is like you're going to track something. You're going to find something. But you're going to use those skills to think. It's also the one used for shooting. Hunt is used for shooting. Study is you're literally studying and opening a book, or you're studying fine details. Survey is like more broad, like you're looking at like a broad area or something of that nature. Tinker is you're tinkering, you're messing with something like mechanical or something of that nature. Finesse is used if you're trying to like pick somebody's pocket. It's like your classic like stealthy kind of thing, but more in the aspect of like I'm using my hands dexterously. Prowl is your literal stealth. Skirmish is fisticuffs and fighting. Wreck is breaking things specifically. Attune is the magic one. Broadly speaking, all magic goes under that. Command is you are literally issuing commands. Consort is so it's like these 3 get a bit weird because command is like I'm commanding you to do something. Consort is I am kind of using my connections and my influence to make things happen, and then sway is like I'm using my silver tongue to make things happen. It's potentially like there's some lying in sway that exists. So like it's like deception versus persuasion, basically, between the consort and sway.
And how many was it? 4 or 6?
You get 4 dots to put in anywhere you want. You can have no more than 3 in any one category.
Okay.
And this determines how many dice you roll, or how many bonus dice you get.
How many dice you roll. Bonus dice are separate, and I'll come on.
So if you have nothing in the category, you don't get to roll at all.
You do get to roll.
But it's not great.
You roll 2 dice and take the lowest.
Okay.
It's hurtful. Yeah.
Um,
You're probably gonna fail, but you might succeed anyways.
You said tinker was for, well, obviously tinkering with things. Does that include mixing chemicals together?
Yes, it does. The other thing to note is if you fail something, if you fail a check, you can resist that check. And the way that works is that it takes the amount of dots in the first column for the check you failed on in the category. So like for example, you did a survey check and you failed it for whatever reason, you wanted to resist it, you would roll insight, and then your first pip in hunt, study, survey, and tinker would add dice to that resistance roll. And resistance is if you take 6 stress minus what you roll on a dice. So it can be that you just negate it out completely. So yeah, there is value in being either like shallow and wide, and also or very deep. Both flip sides have different benefits depending on which side you land on. It's interesting in that regard.
Does everyone get 3 with their character?
You get 3, yeah.
So yeah, okay. So we should have a total of 7 dots assigned, no more than 3 in a single thing.
Correct.
Cool.
I have
Lovely.
3 in a single thing and then 4 ones.
Same.
What's the difference between study and survey?
Study is fine details, and then survey is like wide stuff. So it's like if you were like,
I'm getting rid of survey and putting that point into study.
like if you were trying to kind of go, I want to understand how this building is put together and where we can blow something up to like bring the whole thing down, that would be survey.
Oh,
Whereas study would be like, I go into a building and I want to study the room and the paperwork to figure out where something's hidden. So those are like it's two kind of different things. They have like a thing. Here we go. Yeah, details and imperative. You observe the situation and anticipate outcomes. Yeah, survey is kind of like insight in some regards in that aspect. So survey is kind of insight. Which is funny because it's sitting under the insight tab, and study is like perception. Anyways, cool. So you've got your 4.
I assume that study would also be searching through books and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're fairly intuitive.
yeah. Because sticking with the original plan of 4 with 1 in them.
Cool. Okay. Right, is everyone ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. So if man, why does it do it that way? Okay. The next thing you need to do is add 1 ability to your character. If you click the button that says abilities, or the little plus, it will. There's a huge list, huge, great big long list. You're only concerned with the ones that are specific to your class, and there's an abbreviation. It should be fairly easy to figure out. You only want the ones that are 1 value. Just to bear in mind. I think you can click the question mark to see, or just hover over the question mark to see what they do. For the Whisper, it would be, instead of ghost field, it's the tree. Basically, the magical field that the tree represents and all of its bits that it works with, and the spirits that it commands and all of that kind of stuff. So it's the same. The outcome is the same. It's just the names are different. And then you just take one of those things. If I remember correctly. Doo-doo-doo.
So apparently, if I want to bring down a building, then I should be using Wreck rather than Tinker.
You could use either,
Okay.
depending on what you're specifically trying to do. If you are literally taking a sledgehammer to the building, then I'd say, yeah, you're probably right, Wreck. But if you are building a bomb into the building itself using its own construction, that I would say that's Tinker. And that's the thing, is you're making the decisions on what to roll.
Yeah, the thing is, this ability here, the Saboteur ability, specifically says when you wreck, the work is much quieter than it should be, and the damage is hidden from casual inspection. I suppose that is kind of still doing that, but that's not the one I'm going for anyway.
Fair enough. My cat in here. Where is she? Every so often I feel like a tail or something furry going on my leg, and I can't find her. Okay, whatever. Okay. Let's change the music a bit. It's so loud. There we go. And once everyone's chosen an ability, we can go on to the next spot.
Just a quick thing. If I wanted to pay for information, so say I wanted to find out where someone was, and someone could reveal that in exchange for money, would that come under consort or sway?
It could have come under either, depending on how you're going about it. Consort would be using your contacts to do that, and that's perfectly valid within that context thing. Sway is kind of like, I'm specifically squeezing this guy, or command, actually, even command, because you could intimidate them to do it as well. But if you're trying to just pay them money directly, like you have the context and know how to pay, I would guess consort.
Cool, perfect. That's fine. I've just tweaked something.
So, yep. Everyone's ready to move on. Cool. And it doesn't matter too much. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't think it will come up.
But... When we start playing, you'll be like, oh, okay, it matters in this one context, and that's it. And you'll find out that really what's going to end up happening is some weird shit. Right. Next thing we need to decide. Think character stuff is basically all done. The thing I should mention about items that your characters own. You have access to every item that your character could potentially have. And that includes like weapons and all kinds of shit. So if you click the loadout button, there's like a list of like, here's all the weapons that exist within my class. You have access to all of them. Depending on your loadout as to how many of them you can use per given job. So it's not that you have a bag that has all the stuff in it that you carry around with you all the time. It's when it comes time to need a thing, you go, I'm using that as part of my loadout. You tick it off, and then you've got one item left in your loadout before you can, before you run out and you can no longer access the infinite inventory. Because the concept of Blades in the Dark is that your characters are much smarter about what they're doing than you are, so they know what to bring. Therefore, when you come and need them, you can just go, I want that. I need a knife now. And you have a knife, for example.
So we don't actually have to add anything at this stage?
You don't have to, no, but you just need to kind of like have a think of like, you can add them if you want, just to see what they do, but you can just say, I've got all these things. If I need something, I can just pull it out. There's like exceptions, like fine items, like fine tools in specific. You can't have those kinds of things. But if somebody says, I want to have a steam pistol, yep, sure, that's in the normal shit. You can perfectly have that. That's perfectly fine. You can say, I have one now. Cool. And in some of the ways is that Blades in the Dark works backwards from D&D. It does all the planning at the end rather than the beginning. So think of it like that. Effects items. Okay, last thing we need to do is decide what kind of crew you want to be. So, crew types. There are a few different types, and it will depend on what you guys want to get up to. Let's score. Where's crew? Here it is. Crew creation. There are 6 main types. Assassins, which are fairly obvious what they do. Bravos, which are mercenaries and thugs. They beat people up, they shake down people for money, that kind of shit. Cult, you are a cult. You are trying to recruit people. You're trying to make people part of this thing and or trying to awaken some eldritch god. Something along those lines. Hawkers, vice dealers, drug dealers, effectively. But it doesn't have to be drugs. It can be other things. Shadows, which are thieves and spies. And smugglers, which are contraband exporters. So you're trying to move things in and out of the city. In the context of Arbor, smugglers is an interesting one because most of it's going to be going out, because it's going to be things like on any of the great tree stuff is heavily controlled. So getting that stuff out of the city would be extremely lucrative.
Yeah, I think we might be the baddies. I mean, assassins seem most interesting to me.
Anything other than the thugs, I think, works for me.
Sure.
Yeah. And if you've got a preference for the assassins, let's do it.
Cool.
Okay. Right. So you are assassins. How do
I prefer the term bounty hunter, but yes, assassin. Assassins pay more.
That's true. Assassins, and we'll have a name of something later. If I can figure out what I say. Anyways, as part of the assassins, you need to decide where what your lair is, and I can figure out where it's supposed to go. Like, where have you decided to set up shop within the city of Arbor? Going from the outermost edge to in, it's like poor, not quite middle class, very rich. Basically goes inwards, strata.
See, I imagine it, and again, you feel free to chime in, but I imagine that we actually run a very respectable drinking establishment for the upper classes. But that's not where we make our money. It's they come in if they have additional requests.
Up front, as you say.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if other people have got different ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking university lecturer. But publican also sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Respectable drinking establishment as a front for a group of assassins. Very good. Very good. Okay.
That way we got tax returns as well.
I think you guys are probably in the second ring then. You're not quite. You're in the middle class to in that kind of area. Because that way you're not, because your clientele is a little bit upscale. It's not quite so, but you're newly established. But maybe you inherited this place from someone, or one of you came into money some way or another, and have this pub, and have decided the money isn't good enough. Fuck it. I am going to assign you a crew upgrade, because you get one for free. Where is one that's actually going to be useful for you? Because otherwise, okay, yeah, we'll do assassin rigging, because that's the only one that's actually going to be relevant for this. Basically, you get 2 free loads worth of weapon or gear items. Basically, you can carry a pistol or burglary tools for free. You basically constantly have these things on your person. You have them in hidden pouches and compartments. And weapon can be literally anything that can be construed as a weapon. A lead pipe can be a weapon. A fist, like brass knuckles, anything you can think of, essentially.
And is that each? We get 2 items each.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
You get your free 2 loadout. You are a group of assassins. I think. Let me see if there's anything else. Right. So, explaining how the general rules work. Now that we built the characters, built the crew. You are tier 0. So basically, you are the lowest tier you can possibly be. You don't have any like special upgrades. You're new on the scene. No one's kind of like said, "Hey, these guys, they know what they're doing." But people might still come to you and be like, "They're a bit expendable. They'll do." Kind of shit. So, with that, need to explain how the game works. So, in the context of Blades in the Dark, or the system, whenever you want to do a thing, you describe what you want to do, and then you kind of figure out what you need to roll. You can describe literally anything, and then I set a position, an effect. So your position is how...
I was going to say, I believe in the last game, I was playing the ghost speaker, and I reminded a wooden beam of when it used to be a living tree and caused it to regrow to crack a wall.
Yep, it's perfectly viable.
Very freeform.
Yeah, very extremely freeform, kind of like think about it. And because everything in the city, almost everything down to the very small pieces, is made from Great Tree. Rich, as the Whisperer, you've got a lot of control over the things in the world as well, and the other bits and pieces. Because there's Arbor is the only city in the world, in the wider world, that has magic. There are some really... You can do literally anything within the context. Now, what I will say is that when you roll for whatever task you're trying to do, because you can see very quickly that failure happens more often than success, and particularly success with complications happens more often. You could see how even when you're doing things like you could do almost anything you could think of, it's like, okay, I could do anything I think of, but if I do something really bad, Brad's probably going to set the effect very high and the difficulty very high, which means that if I fail, something very bad is going to happen. So like very bad things that happen, like if I say this is a desperate action, and this is a limited effect, it means that you're trying to do something that's very extreme and you don't have quite enough control of it. Something very bad could happen if you fuck this up. So bear that in mind. The other thing is that if you do a desperate roll, you get experience points. So you're incentivized to do desperate actions. The one thing I always want to check is am I right? Maybe it's 1-2 is failure and 3-4-5 is success. but with complications. I think it might be 3, 4, 5. If I click a sheet, it will tell me. Roll. No, I don't want that. I need to do it again. No, do it again. Give me one with like a 2 or something. Okay, no. 3 is a failure. Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3 is failure, and 4, 5, 6 is success. But 4 and 5 are success with complications. So you do the thing, but something bad happens at the same time. You're most likely, with multiple dice, you're most likely to get, I've done a thing, but something happened. You could also get a thing called a crit if you get 2 6s. So that's something to bear in mind as well. You can't get critical failures, though. Right.
Should we be picking if we've got like a light, medium, or heavy loadout?
We do that when we do get the job, and I'm going to explain what's going to happen. So basically, I built a bunch of like jobs that you could potentially do based on which crew type you were.
Right.
So, is Mike here?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I was just putting on a jumper and grabbing some snacks.
No worries.
Camera will go back on in just a sec. I am still here, though. Do you continue?
No. I just want to make sure. You could go get snacks.
I don't have any snacks.
Oh dear.
And the best I could do would be to grab something out of the freezer and stick it in the air fryer. But I've done that once today already. Tempura prawns.
Not bad. Okay. So, this is what happens. You are in your establishment. Glasses clinking, the sound and smell of cigar smoke, and the noises of the local reader going through the paper of today, talking about the breakup of the Davy Lamps and the Iron Hands, how the families have now split, and that the twin brother and sister no longer seem to be getting along, and that there is now some kind of potential war brewing between the two companies, and everyone's being a bit nervous about this. But coming into your establishment is a green cloak, so basically the police officers of this area, and he sidles up to the bar, and you've seen this guy before. You know he's dirty. He is like, he is on the take of not just one company, but several of them. So he is as dirty as it gets, and he essentially comes up to this bar, and which we'll use this to introduce your characters. Who does he see at the bar? Who's the current publican that is running things?
I would say probably not me.
Eric?
Happy for it to be me.
Sure.
I think I tried and I was not allowed to do it again.
Yeah, no, happy for it to be me. Given that I was an ex-police officer, I may well have known this person. So.
Oh yeah. So you definitely know this person. This is Sergeant Thompson. When you knew him, he was a rookie. He was a constable, and he was not afraid to get his hands dirty to get the job done. He just may have gotten his hands a little too dirty at this point. He comes up to the bar. He looks at you, and he gives you a knowing look of like, I'm not here for drinks.
You're after something in a dirty glass, are you?
I am. What is being the costings for us? I know that you've recently got into new enterprises.
Yes. We're trying some most exotic liquor. It can be slightly pricey. What's the money system used here? Because I don't want to pitch this too high or too low.
So in the way that the Blades in the Dark system operates, it's based on coin.
Okay.
A coin is basically like a stack of money, it's a cat, like a thing. So if you can basically say like, I want 3 coin, 2 coin. For a job like an assassination job, you probably would pitch it about 3 coin, depending on the target. And that's kind of like it's like, so what you might want to do is he'll probably say, do you mind if we maybe go to the back and discuss this?
Of course, why not? Why not view the full selection that we have to offer? And I'll because I assume that we'd also have regular bar staff so I'll get him to then, and we can head into the back.
One of your cohorts comes over and switches out with you, gives you a knowing nod, and kind of like they know what's happening. So.
Yeah. And they're paid well for their knowledge. So it will be effectively a soundproofed room at this stage. Can't be too careful.
Some odd stains on the walls.
Yeah. So, who is it that you're interested in not being around anymore?
Is this where the 2 other people are also hanging out in this room?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cool.
I kind of look up and go, a discerning customer.
Aye. Then looks at you. So describe, if you each want to go in turn, describe your characters as to who they look like and what they are.
So I'm a human. I'm a human, or what was a bounty hunter, I guess. So kind of informally dressed. Like a practical smartwear, I guess, is how I describe it. So they look respectable, but it's also something that can be run about in, and probably average height and build, just 5'9", 5'9", something like that. Reasonably athletic. Again, that's not a lot of sitting around in, because I've just come out of the police force to get into barkeeping. Kind of like a little a longish trench coat, I guess, but I'm imagining that kind of steampunky formal trench coat type thing that may or may not hold a selection of weapons. So I think that's it. That I don't think I've missed anything yet.
Yeah, you've probably capped your steampunkish your steam gun. You might even have one of the steam rifles from when you were a green cloak, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's cool. Rich, you want to go next?
Yeah, a very thin, wiry man. I would say where Augustine took the path of professionalism and business-like, whilst cut from the same initial cloth, Clave took the path of obsession and vice, and became obsessed with the occult. Very jittery. Dressed in he comes from money, but not you wouldn't have heard, like, unless you knew your noble houses, you wouldn't have heard of this person. It's just a very minor, but still significant amount of wealth. He's kind of like the offcast from that family.
A branch family, one of the old families. There are, like, you could be a member of, like there's the Goldfoots, and there's tons and tons of different companies and families out there that exist that were once powerful and no longer. So yeah, cool. Ryan.
Okay, you see a man stood by a table with a holding a pipette over a smoking goblet.
Oh gosh.
He's got the most glorious mustache. But it's grey. Possibly a bit prematurely. It's just his moustache that's grey, though. He's got mousy brown hair on top. Looks a bit nondescript, apart from the glorious moustache. He's wearing a shirt and some slacks, and you can see a nice jacket folded over the back of a chair. He's a. Oh, you can also see there are. If you look closely, he's got his sleeves rolled up. If you look closely, you can see lots of little dotted scars all over his forearms.
Oh, cool. So this green cloak, who is, he is the very epitome of the. If you go to the green cloak in the wiki bit, that is what he looks like. He is very, very square jawed, very like strong features, very like 1,000-yard stare, like full on. He's wearing his like green cloak stuffs, which is like the for him is like the long peak made of great dyed very deep green, large buttons. On him, the buttons would be wooden, so kind of silvery wooden. And he kind of goes, got a bit of a problem, and I got a bit of a problem that you three should be able to solve for me relatively simply. I think the chief inspector of the third ring, the last one remaining, that is, the last of the chief inspectors. As you know, the others have met tragic circumstances as of late, has thus far managed to evade those kinds of actions. But she's getting a little too close for comfort. For myself and other members who are more understanding of the capitalists of this world and their need for discretion on certain actions that they take within their own domiciles, which you, as a fellow capitalist, will understand.
I think I understand the picture.
Yes. Her name is Adina Flint. She is chief inspector for the third ring. So you're not to be going somewhere too difficult to get into. You just need to deal with her. She will occasionally, she frequents her station. As beyond that, I don't know what her personal life is like. But I just need her gone before she gets a bit too close to me and uncovers anything else. Now, if you do well in this job, there might be further jobs, because while Edina is a thorn on our side, it's all the way from the top that's causing us more trouble. Lucius and Minerva, the commissioner and deputy commissioner respectively, need to be dealt with at a later date, but that's a bit more
High end.
Yeah. Yes, beyond your pay grade for now. We'll see how you do on the chief inspector. Now, of course, I'm not coming to you just as a little green cloak with no money. I am a representative. And as such, I am more than happy to provide... He thinks for a minute, looks around. You guys look dangerous in the right way. 4 coin for the effort, which is 4 coin is a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to suggest. 3 for the job, 1 for the elusiveness, because presumably other people have failed. So yes, that entirely seems reasonable, and of course, we want to make a good impression for your employer.
What kind of manner are we talking about here? What? Do we mean to have an accident? Or do we want something obvious? Do we want mysterious and unexplained, or just vanished?
I leave that up to you. The important thing is she gone. We already have a potential replacement for her in the wings that will be more amicable to our current situation. So
Very well.
We're not too concerned about that. However you want to do it, it's up to you. If you want to make it flashy and showy, by all means. If you want to just vanish, she just needs to be gone. That's all.
That can indeed be arranged. We'll need 1 coin up front, and then the other 3 upon job completion for certain expenditures.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's kind of how things work. If that's absolutely not how it's done.
You can do that. I think that's probably going to be. You're trying to convince him that to part with some money. So I think you can do a some kind of roll.
Consort, as it's we kind of know them.
Yeah, I think you can lean on that a little bit. So, the next thing you want to do is when you make a roll, another member of your crew can expend a stress to give you an extra dice. So they expend 1 stress, or you can push yourself and expend 2 stress to give yourself an extra die, or you can take a devil's bargain.
I'm
Now,
sure that comes with consequences.
yes,
Good
there are automatic consequences with any devil's bargains. The one that I would say here is that the devil's bargain here is that if you fail in this mission, this is going to get a lot of heat on you. And heat is actually a real concept. So the heat is like how wanted you are by the Green Cloaks. Not this guy in particular, but probably others that exist in the world. So that's the consequences. If you fail, it will be even worse because you've taken his money and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd assumed that was going to be the case anyway. If you take someone's money and not do what they've paid you to do.
If you don't take his money, then yeah. So.
Can you talk briefly about stress and why it might be a good or a bad thing to?
So, stress is kind of the HP of the system. If you accumulate 10 stress in total, you are out of a job immediately, and you get a trauma. If you get too many traumas, your character dies. That's not the only way your character can die, but it's one of the ways your character can die.
Okay.
But think of it also as a resource you use in order to do things and build up strength and build up dice pools, basically, to make your success more likely.
For something this minor, I don't think it's worth it because I'm assuming the worst at this for this particular thing, the worst he can do is say no, and so we get no gold immediately, and we get all the coin at the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could also, if you fail completely, you can just make him very upset, and then he can reduce the total. That's also possible.
Does stress only matter when you fill it up?
Yes. So if you have 1 or a 10 or 9, it's basically the same.
Yes, okay.
Similar to the D&D, HP doesn't matter until it really does.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm currently rolling 1 dice.
Yep.
I assume. Is it worth?
So I would say coins can be spent to immediately succeed on certain actions as well. Like a coin can be like, I want to pay off this guy, and you just go, I spent a coin, and he just disappears. He fucks off.
I'm kind of leaning towards the devil's bargain because we're definitely going to do this. Like, because either these are going to be happy or upset either way.
Cool.
Yeah. So that'd be
2.
That'd be 2 dice, right?
Yep. And then it'll ask for a position and a you are currently controlled. I think that's one of the ones. And the effect will be standard effect.
Okay. Can I just roll physical dice, or do I have to do it in here? Okay,
just 2 dice. 2d6.
I've got 2 4s.
So that is a success with complications.
Sorry, is it doing a devil's bargain adds 2?
Adds 1.
Adds
1
one
extra die.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And
he
I've
had
got
1
in
pip.
consort.
He had 1 pip and added another. Okay.
So yeah, I think with the complication is that he takes out a briefcase. I kind of knew this might happen. Puts on thing. Says for now, know that we've got trackers in all of the. I need an extra assurance, and he puts like a stone on the table. Not quite a stone, but it looks about round like a coin, but it's like a wooden disc. Puts it on. It's clearly great tree wood. It's very dense if you hold it. You'll be needing to keep that on your person at all times. It's a way of keeping a track on you.
Sure.
So he hands you that. Hands you the coins. A pleasure doing business with you. And stands up and leaves the room with you to plan whichever way you wish to do so. Now, planning an engagement. The way we do this is you decide on a method for your engagement. And there are 6 methods you can choose from. assault, you do violence to the target directly. So in this case, you would be either assaulting her in her home, which you could figure out, or assaulting her in the streets, on the way to and from, or within the precinct itself. You could do any of those three. Deception, you use lies, tricks, or manipulation to trick her into doing something that means that she ends up in a position where you can kill her easily. Stealth, you sneak somewhere. You sneak into somewhere and you kill her that way. Occult, you engage some kind of supernatural power in order to do something in a way of killing her. A social would be like negotiate, bargain, or persuade. So this might be something like you try to convince another group to do the job for you, or you do something like host a party or throw a soiree, or you know about a party that you can infiltrate and then kill her that way. And transport doesn't really apply because that's about carrying people or cargo through danger. That doesn't really work in this context. So any of the other 5 probably works. And you choose that one, and then you go, okay, I've chosen one. Now now we kind of like figure out, it's like, okay, what specifically do you need to make this happen, kind of thing.
Okay.
So,
Ryan, did you say you were an apothecary?
I'm an alchemist.
Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
I deal with poisons, tinctures, acids, things like that.
I mean, we could poison her drink because presumably she's got off time. So find out where she goes to a bar, spike her drink with something very poisonous, and
okay. So that sounds kind of like social, maybe?
Yeah, going to a party and poisoning the drink. Yeah.
Does Rich, do you have any other ideas, or?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think that'll work.
because presumably if something goes wrong, we can then adjust the plan, right? Like we're not.
You're doing that a lot.
Yeah, cool.
I, however, have no social skills.
That's my concern.
Yeah, it was more. So rather than social, it's more. Can we have it as stealth?
Okay. So you want to try to sneak into where she is and drop something in her drink without her knowing.
That's more what I'm imagining. If
Okay.
I'm just picturing basically kind of like a hitman mission from a hitman game where you disguise yourself as a waiter, some of the wait staff, and sneak in that way. So using a combination of disguises and stealth, as opposed to schmoozing.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, we're going in through the service entrance effectively.
Okay. Cool. Right. So so we're going with stealth then. So what we need?
I've only got 1 dice in prowl, but hey.
It's more about like the concept of stealth. So you're trying to remain unseen. You're trying to just like infiltrate a place. So what I will say here is the detail of the plan is you're trying to get in and spike her drink with a poison that you concoct in order to deal with her before she can cause any trouble. Now, the thing we need to decide is, where is she? Where does she drink? Where does she go? And I think what we're going to do is, who has the best consort? Because that's using your social contacts, or if you can figure out some other way of figuring that information out. You could pay somebody off. You could spend your 1 coin to say, I want to know where I want to know where she drinks. Find it out for me, and you could do that. You could easily do that, or you can
that or survey, I guess, would be to watch.
Yeah. If you want,
I've got 1 in consort and 1 in survey. I don't know what other people have got.
I've got 1 in survey.
I've got study the
I've
person.
got 1 in study.
I will say, Rich, you could use the attunement of the great tree to follow her through the roots of the tree. The tree is so big, it literally casts the world in twilight.
Let's do that.
Cool. So,
You convinced me, Brad.
Cool. So you sit down, and right after this guy leaves, you're like, I know what I need to do. You sit down, you close your eyes, and you begin to feel out the roots underneath you. And this tree it's like if you've ever like seen pictures of people swimming next to a blue whale, and the size comparison and the depth and the just the great difference in mass is that it's that kind of feeling. You kind of just feel the weight of the tree around you, and then you begin to focus. And I need you to make this is definitely
Is the tree sentient when I make that connection?
so you do get a sense of an intelligence there, but it's so alien to you, it's difficult to. And many people have done this before. Many people have understood that the tree is at least aware of the people underneath it. How much it's aware of it, and what its purpose is, and why allows people to take the sap from it, for instance, and all kinds of things. Why it does this, no one's sure. The intelligence is too alien to understand. But yeah, there's some kind of intelligence there. You could, if you wanted to, I'll give you a devil's bargain here. You could try and connect your sentience to the trees, but there might be a change that occurs. Or you can wall yourself off and be like, no, I know other.
For now, I'm not gonna take your bargains there.
That's fine. But you can expend stress, and other people can help you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So otherwise,
I'm happy to spend a stress to help you.
Okay, yeah, you could do that. So you've known, is it Clave? No, yes, you've known Clave. You've known Clave for quite a while. You know how to like calm him down to get him into the zone better. You kind of just stand behind him and kind of get him, in a calm space.
How many dice are you rolling?
He's rolling 4 now.
Oh, 4 now.
Yeah, I spent the stress to help you because we got to find this person, otherwise this is going to be a shit heist.
Well, you'll probably find the person. With 4 dice, you're almost guaranteed. So 4d6 and
It's just
You might get a 6.
6, pure success. Cool.
How many
reach
6s?
out.
Just the one?
2, 4, 4, 6.
Okay.
4, 4, 6. Cool. You reach out, and this was going to be standard effect. This is technically risky because any interactions with the tree, especially like this, are a little dicey. You reach out from the second ring, moving outwards. You feel the tree roots go over, under, through the subway tunnels that exist already. They're very careful not to damage the tree when they do kind of digging in this area. But you keep going and going and going, and eventually you feel not a familiar presence, but one you're searching for. You've never met Edina, but you know instinctively that it seems the tree is guiding you and knows who this person is and where they are. And it goes, and you kind of go back in the memories. You don't have to sit there long because the tree knows what you want. It's trying to give it to you. And there is a slight. You got a 6, so there is a slight enticement. If you'd gotten a 4 or 5, that enticement would have been open, and you would have dove right in. But that enticement is there to connect your senses, and you go, nope, that's bad. Don't do that. And
the day, Satan.
And it just relaxes back and guides you through the memory of itself. And you see that she drinks at a policeman's bar, a very specific one in the third ring, by the name of the Green Duck, frequented by lots of green cloaks. Unfortunately, from your memories, when you begin mentioning this to Mike's character, who doesn't have a name.
Oh, I knew I forgot something.
He will instantly remember that particular bar in the third ring isn't frequented by any of the dirty cops. It is mostly by the clean ones, and that's a problem. Doesn't mean it's insurmountable, but it means that it's going to be a little bit more secure than you would have otherwise hoped, but still doable.
Well, the other option was try and figure out if there's a fundraiser going on at some point.
Fundraiser.
Because, a fundraiser where it's expected that the chief of chief inspector would have to attend to schmooze some people to try and get more funding for the Green Cloaks.
When you were watching her at the bar, how long does that like? Do you see her leave, or is that just we now know that she drinks at the bar? Specifically, does
you were
she leave?
specifically, yeah, you were
Does she leave
specifically
on her own?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. So Rich can give me another attune roll to try and figure that out, because his initial question was where does she drink? The tree kind of answered for him. Another roll if he wishes to do so.
I'm just pondering that we could recreate Batman's origin story.
Sure. Yeah. So 3 dice, unless anyone wants to burn stress. Oh, what did you get?
Got 3. 1, 1, 2, 3.
You
Right.
didn't give us a chance to offer you more stress.
You can offer stress if you want. Yeah, an extra dice.
I'm going to offer a stress to give you an extra dice, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that smoking goblet in front of you and say, "Drink up."
Sure.
Okay. 4.
That's
so
better.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. But that's still the.
It's very bubbly. You can feel it fizzing on the way down, and it's slightly minty.
So you reach out again, asking the tree the same question, and or asking tree a slightly different question of who does she leave with? And the tree answers back too quickly for your mind to kind of react, and it lets it in, and you all watch as your friend begins to turn kind of silvery, like the color of the tree bark, like. So if you mark on your sheet, there is a section for injuries and less effect. Do silvery eye in the very bottom one.
Is that presumably just Rich's character or all of
That's
us?
just Rich's character. No, it's just an impact for you.
Where on my sheets am I looking?
Harm
It
in the
says
middle.
harm. There's a
Oh
thing that
yes,
says
less effect. I got it.
So yeah, silvery eye.
Oh, is that permanent now? Like when he comes out of the trance, has he still got a silvery eye?
Oh yeah, yeah. It looks like the tree has enacted a price for asking too many questions too quickly.
Damn it! I didn't realise there'd be consequences.
That's most of what this game is, Mike.
Yeah. No, I was saying that in jest.
So so you come out, clutch your eye really quickly. It's not bleeding, but you feel.
You know, you get an itch in your eye.
Yeah. You touch it, and it's wood. It is actually wood.
Oh no! What? Does this look okay?
I mean, it looks like a cool color.
You could still kind of see out of it. It's really strange.
Well,
Do you
we have
feel
the.
okay?
What was in that brew?
Oh, just some vodka, some gin, some absinthe, some lemonade, some fresh mint, some sap, some.
It was the bloody sap, wasn't it? You did this to me.
Well, I mean, in order to be magically potent, it has to have a little bit of sap in there.
But what you get back, though, eventually, when sifting through the memories, Adina is leaving with a officer you recognize, a Detective Maria. Now, it looks like Detective Maria, in terms of the memory, joined up with Adina afterwards, and they left together. You know Maria is very dirty, but for a very specific reason. You never understood the exact reasons of it, but she's definitely a dirty cop. She is somebody you can push or prod or do something to get to happen. So that's the information you get.
When they were leaving, how friendly did they look?
Very friendly.
So they might be leaving as more than just friends.
They might be leaving as more than just friends. You could take that as.
Oh.
Mike still hasn't named his character.
No.
I have. They're called. Oh, there. How do I change that one? Because I've changed it on the thing.
And the character sheet where it says name.
Yeah, you've changed alias. Calcifer. That's fine.
Yes, because I can't read. Right, there we go.
Cool. Calcifer.
I haven't got a second name yet, but yes.
No, that's fine. You can just go by your alias if you want. That's perfectly fine. Cool. So with that, and you deciding, the thing we need to decide is: are you going to try to get her inside, or are you going to wait for the two to come back? Are you going to be like try just to follow those two? You know where they're. You know probably, and I think with the success you got this time, you know that they go back to Idina's apartment, which you can see. It's a small townhouse in the third ring.
Okay, what if Calcifer were to maybe use some old contacts to figure out if there are any events happening at that bar which would require them to hire extra staff?
Ooh, yes. Yeah. Can I do that?
Sure. You could do a consort roll for that. That sounds like what you're trying to do.
Yep. I'm not trying to locate a target, so because I've just realised I have the scout ability. Should have used that before we
got Rich the old wood eye.
Yep. Let's just one dice should do it. That is a 5.
So success with a complication.
Yep.
Cool. You know of an event that's coming up fairly soon. The only problem is that the event is one you've been invited to specifically. It's kind of like a old police officer's retirement thing. So you will need to show your face visibly at this event.
Yes.
Aware of.
I do, but the other two don't.
They don't, but it means that you're kind of in what you're inside the lion's den, as it were, if you choose to take this route. Which I think is a good time for the engagement roll, because I think that's maybe the route you're taking, is infiltrating this while the other two try to sneak around the back, as it were.
Yeah. Can we supply them with some of our staff outfits? So they blend in with the staff at the bar? Or...
Yeah. Well, that's part of your loadout, though.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, how do you? How do you guys want to get in? Because obviously, I'm just walking in through the front door. So. And how small is your poison, Ryan?
Small as he wants it to be.
Because there's an opportunity that I might be able to add it to her drink, but that's crazy risky. So, that. But can I?
Okay, one thing we could do is you engineer a situation where she picks up a specific drink that has been poisoned.
Yeah,
that is one possibility.
Cool.
So
we shouldn't get too far into it this early on.
Okay.
So right now we move to the engagement roll.
Okay.
So that you're going to infiltrate this bar while this event is going on. It's the policemen. It's the Green Cloaks revival. Old Green Cloaks, new Green Cloaks, kind of a big mixer. Retired Green Cloaks come out. There aren't that many retired Green Cloaks. It's not a profession where you live long. There are worse ones, but this isn't a great one. This is a city of violence and danger. This place is quite packed, and what we need to do first is the engagement roll. So. Okay. Engagement roll is kind of how the mission starts, how the action goes. We start with 1 dice for sheer luck. The next thing we do is we do advantages and disadvantages to figure out how many dice we get. In this operation, particularly bold or daring, you are walking right into a shit ton of very dangerous Green Cloaks that are potentially all want to kill you in one way or another.
Why? Because of what we're about to do, or just in general they are dangerous people that we don't want to be in the presence of?
So
if they see us try and assassinate...
We're about to do something very illegal in amongst people who are trained to sniff out illegal acts.
I get that. I was just more curious. Like, is there a reason why just us going up to one? Like, are they dangerous people just by sheer presence, or is it?
Ooh, that's a good question. Maybe this isn't as bold and daring. Like, it's only dangerous at the point that you kill her.
Yeah, but before that, I mean, I've been invited, so
Yeah, you've been invited, which makes it complicated, but not totally undefeatable. So then, yeah, I don't think it's bold or daring. Is it complex or contingent on too many factors? No, you're bringing in a poison, you're going to poison her, and then that's it. The thing that's going to be difficult is getting back out. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability to the target and hit them where they're weakest? I don't necessarily think so. Everyone has to drink. That's not a particular weakness. Is this target strong against this approach? Not that you're aware of. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight? I'd say yes. Due to Calcifer's background, you've added, you know how the cops operate, you know how this thing is supposed to work, and you've been invited specifically, so I think you get an extra dice there. There aren't any enemies or rivals that are currently interfering, because you don't have any, technically. Any elements you want to consider? They are definitely a higher tier than you, though. And she is a high-ranking green cloak, so you would lose a dice for that. So you get 1 dice. Can you spend? No, you can't expend stress on this. One of you rolls 1d6, please.
presumably Devil's Bargain's also out of the.
Yeah, this is pure. This is the state of things as you enter the thing.
Ryan, I don't think you've rolled any dice yet.
This is correct.
Did you want to roll the most critical roll so far?
Why fucking not, I guess.
I think Rich lost his headset. Hello?
Yeah, that's a Jabra one, isn't it?
He's back.
Hello?
You're muted.
Oh, sorry.
though.
I'm going to get some food, but I'm switching to my wireless one.
Ah, right.
And I was trying to do it subtly, so I rolled in that one, I guess. But keep going, I can hear you.
Okay, well, I actually do need to pop to the loo, though, so is now a good time to do that?
Go ahead. Yeah, right before the... Let's set the engagement roll so I can know what I'm dealing with.
So you're planning, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
4.
Cool.
Oh, it's success.
Yeah.
Does it still use the 1 to 3 failure, 4 to 5 success with complication?
So in this context, you'd set... if you got a 6, you would be controlled. Everything's going smoothly. Everything's fine. We're all gravy. 4 is... something's gone a bit hinky in the start of the engagement. However you guys have got in, however like that has occurred, something's gone wrong. 1 to 3 is everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong, and you're starting out in a fight.
Oh, yikes. Okay, cool.
That's the kind of level we go with. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to as well, actually.
I shall do the same. You're muted.
Hello, there we go. That works. So presumably, so the idea is that things do go wrong, and then it's how you try to get out of that, if at all possible.
Yep. And it spirals very fast.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool. There's Rich.
Hello! Sorry, I needed a hot chocolate.
It's alright.
No worries. Welcome back.
All good.
Right. So, our engagement roll was a 4, which means there's been some complications on the entryway.
Quick question. Is there a
Yes.
difference between rolling a 4 and a 5, like in severity of complication, or is it just complication?
It's just complication. In this context, there is some times when it matters, but in this case, it doesn't. So, the outcomes, this determines your basic position. A 1 to 3 means you're in a desperate position, which case maybe somebody recognized that Calcifer should not be here. That they did something in their past that meant they have no business coming to this event. That has not occurred. They've let Calcifer inside. The complication doesn't come from Calcifer's entry. It comes from you two. You two tried to sneak around the back, tried to get in that way. That was going to be your entryway. You're going to mingle with the rest of the things. The problem came in when you realized that as you were about to do that, the waitstaff had been replaced by other green cloaks. There was no way you were getting in that way anymore. The only entrance you can see is a lightly guarded, but guarded back entrance, where there's a single green cloak standing at the entrance, and it'll check off on a list and go next, and then a few people come in. And so this is where we get right into the middle of the action. You two are kind of like around a corner, watching this occur. It's like, this is not the way it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be just go in. And you've been let in on the inside, and you are mingling with various green cloaks. Some you knew, some you don't know, kind of like intermingling. And in the target, you don't have the poison because you were searched on the way in, and you knew you would be. Calcifer, you would have been searched, you would have been patted down. You have your weapon, which is in a hidden compartment because of your assassin ability on your green cloak, but the poison was not on your person. You couldn't bring it in with you. It was too dangerous. So those two have the poison. You've got a gun. You could change your plan drastically, but letting off a gun inside this place would very quickly get dangerous. So the two around the corner, we decide, what are you going to do? You've got to get in.
Well, one of us needs to get in. I don't have to go in.
Oh.
You want to go in?
I mean, if I could get in, that would be beneficial. Oh, hang on, let me just take off my mustache. And he takes off his false mustache that he thinks makes him look dignified.
That's the thing.
That's why I said he has a grey mustache compared to the mousy brown hair.
Okay. So, you have this green cloak just checking things off. What do you two want to do?
I want to turn down the music slightly so it's easy to hear you.
Mm-hmm. It is very loud shit.
How busy is this back area?
There's one person every couple of minutes. You might be able to pull something off if you want to. You pitch me an idea, and I'll tell you what is possible.
Okay, so what if we were...
In fact, you pitch me an idea. I will not tell you it's possible. I will say roll the dice, and we'll see it's possible.
Okay, Rich.
That's how this works.
How about this? I use my blowgun to administer a knockout poison. At which point, we wait for a lull, hit him with the knockout poison, take off his green cloak, throw him in the dumpster, and then put it on you to then stand at the door checking people in and out. With keeping his clipboard. Because you've got mystical abilities, you don't necessarily need to be at the place that you're enacting things, right?
No.
So you could be at the door whilst doing things, and then you and then we find, I don't know, another green cloak who comes up to the door. You say, someone wanted to speak to you around the corner, and then we knock him out as well. And then I take his clothes.
Sure.
Okay. So the first thing that needs to happen is you need to knock this green cloak out and wait for an opportune moment to do so. So
my weapon is the blowgun.
Yep.
And could I make a tinker check for the efficiency of the poison?
You can, yeah. That won't determine how accurate you are, but it will be like, how good is the poison?
Okay.
So, and this is kind of... So one of the concepts in Blades in the Dark is a flashback. in this context, we don't need to really get into the mechanic, but that's kind of how this works. You can kind of go flashback and say, I want to have a flashback scene with this where we did X, Y, Z. You either spend stress or don't spend anything. In this case, we see you back at your lab doing the things Calcifer leans over and just kind of goes, "Why are you making a knockout poison? We should be making a kill poison. That's what we're here for." And you go, "You never know," kind of thing.
I had the setup already ready, and I'd already made the poison, so I might as well make the poison, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Give me a tinker roll.
Okay.
You can spend stress if you want to, or somebody else can assist you.
I've got 3 dice for this.
You do have 3 dice. I have a good devil's bargain. Actually, I don't. I don't have a good devil's bargain for this because, I can't think of a good one that doesn't give a hand away. Okay, go ahead.
That's a 6. 2, 4,
Cool.
6.
2, 4, 6. Perfectly successful. Nice little knockout poison. He'll wake up with a headache a couple hours later, have no idea what the fuck happened. So, we flash now back.
Do I only get the 1 dose of this, or do I now have this knockout poison?
I think this is a standard effect. You got 1 dose of it.
Okay.
So, you put it into this little, you wrap it up in this thing. You put this little syringe type thing that can be delivered by a blow dart. You put it in, ready to go. The poison will work as expected. Go.
I should have put some points into. I should have put some points into whatever skill I'm about to use for this blow dart.
Generally, the shoot skill is under
Hunt.
under hunt.
Bollocks. Could I make a bargain for Prowl to get into a position where I can just go really easily?
I think so. Yeah. So you're going to try and get closer to him to do this. That's
Yes.
that's the risk there. It's easier to make the shot, but you are basically right up next to him. So if you miss, he's going to know about it. Whereas if you shot from this distance, he might not necessarily know where you are. You're already in a risky position though, so we'll go with that.
Yeah. Okay, so I have 1 dice.
Yep, 1 dice. It's a risky position.
Can I assist even though I'm not physically there?
You need to be able to describe how you're assisting.
Okay.
Right.
Well, no, I wouldn't know any of this is going on. So
No, you're busy schmoozing and talking to
Yeah.
people.
no, that's fine.
Could I aid by making it like knocking we're gonna have to sort him out if you miss, right? So I will just be walking towards him and maybe knock a bottle kick a bottle over down in the alleyway or something as I'm heading towards you, just to give you that distraction as you fire.
Yeah, you can expend 1 stress and give one extra dice. Yeah. You can always push yourself to get an extra dice, which costs you 2 stress. So.
Yeah, I know, but it's more efficient. It's a better value for money stress.
Yeah, money stress. Sure.
To give it to other people rather than using it on myself.
Agreed.
So I'll roll 2 dice.
Sure.
5 and 1.
5. Cool. So you succeed, but there's some complication. And I think this is a very easy complication to have. You shoot, and it gets him in the back of just beautiful, beautiful shot. The one thing you forgot was this isn't going to be instantly knockout. And even if it was, he's going to make a lot of noise when he hits the ground. He's a heavy dude. It's quite... So he hits the ground, and it's loud. And you hear from around the corner immediately, "Hey, what was that?" from the green cloaks at the front of the door checking people in. Now what are the 2 of you are doing? Now it's getting intense.
Is there somewhere we can hide the body? Is there a dumpster somewhere? Or we just quickly.
I think that's going to be either
Survey.
survey.
Alternatively, could I use a tune to manipulate the environment such that but maybe vines come out and just it looks like he's being pulled into the shadows.
You could pull him straight into the ground. There are roots underneath it if you wish to do that.
Let's do that.
Cool. So go ahead. Make your attune roll then.
I will give you. How many dice are you rolling for this?
I got 3.
I'll give you a stress by just putting my foot on his bum and just pushing him further down.
That's a 4.
4? With 4 dice?
1, 3, 3, 4.
Jesus.
So I think what happens is Tree is quiet though and slow. But as you're kind of pulling, it's kind of grabbed around him and kind of just wrapped around him like vines. It pulls him under and he just vanishes beneath the city streets basically. And then the thing is completely gone. The complication comes in that it looks like the door, as the tree was coming up, has kind of gone sideways on its hinges and is jammed shut now. And the other problem is that these people are still coming around to check out what the fuck happened. So you still need to deal with that problem. And I need a clock. I need a clock. Where's the clock? Clocks. I need to add a clock.
Okay, so there are a couple of ways that we could do this.
So this is
None of them good.
Green Cloaks investigate. Meanwhile, inside, you're at the front of this kind of soiree because you're trying to listen out for you think your crew's perfectly fine, everything's going on. You begin to hear you begin to hear things from people near the front. It's did you hear something's happening around the back. A couple of the boys are going around to investigate. And you hear that, overhear that as you're kind of you're uh-oh. You immediately know something's gone wrong. 2. So you have a clock currently, which is Green Cloaks investigate. That's at 2. When it fills, the Green Cloaks will come around the back and actually be there.
Where are we supposed to be able to see this clock?
Maybe? Question mark. If I do this, I need to configure server. Poof. There you go.
Okay.
I'm still not seeing it.
It's in the players section.
Oh.
It's for some reason I was expecting the clock to be green, but no, the clock is denoting the green cloaks. It's not a green clock for the green cloak.
We're half full already.
Yeah, because you had one action where he fell, and that ticked it once, and another action when you hit the body, second. So you've got the jam door. It's basically this big building. It's a square, squat building separated from everything. There's alleyways on either side of it, but it's a big square building with one door in the back and one door at the front. There might be other entrances, but you haven't investigated in terms of that kind of thing. We haven't established those things yet.
Do you have any social stuff, Ryan?
Social stuff? No. I've got study, survey, lots of tinker, prowl, and wreck.
Is the door visibly broken, or is it just
So I think what probably happened is you guys went to try to open it, and it went, uh-oh. It wasn't opening easily anymore. You see, at the very bottom, there's this tree root that's kind of up underneath the ground.
Okay, I've got an idea.
Sure.
Not a great one, but it's to basically apply a little bit of acid to the bottom of the door, so to loosen it up so that it can be opened and duck inside. I'm going with lots of fluids as my character theme.
So sorry. What are you doing specifically? I might have missed that. What are you doing?
So the door is stuck currently. Yes.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Is it stuck because the the frame it's in has kind of been warped?
Yes, that's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
So in theory, applying a bit of acid to the bit where it's stuck would mean that it could then be opened.
Sure. Yep. You do that.
Okay, can I apply a bit of acid then?
Yeah.
With,
so you can do that. That's a tinker roll.
Tinker roll. Okay.
Simultaneously, can I also do something? I'm happy to let Ryan roll first, and then I'll say what I'm doing to hopefully reduce, like, give you more time.
Sure.
4.
4.
Yeah, I got 3, and 4.
So, this one's an easy one. I think what happens is you're nervous. You're shaking. There's green cloaks coming, and they will definitely do something bad to you very quickly. The green cloaks are not like cops in our era. Maybe they are like cops in our era, depending on your skin color. But you shake in the bottle, and the thing pops open, and you get acid on your hand. So you've got acid burned hand as a harm. And then you just dump the acid out onto the thing. The door kind of like burns part of it, and parts of the metal frame that the door is in kind of like erode away, and the door kind of like and then swings open, and you can go in if you want to. And then while that's happening, inside you hear this commotion of somebody's going to check something out behind the thing.
So can I say, as like a party trick, say I bet I could shoot like a shot glass off of the bar from way at the other end. So the idea is, internally that's a fun joke. Externally, the guys investigating will hear a gunshot and will hopefully double back because they'll view that as a higher threat.
Okay. Yeah. So what role do you want to give me?
Can I a hunt check to actually shoot the shot glass to see if that
Sure.
Cool.
Yep.
Does this also count as gambling?
He said he bet.
That's true. So it can do. Okay, a couple of people come up and say, I'll take that bet. How much you wanna, and then leaves are exchanged. And
I should have added a take a +1 result level to my roll, because I did a alchemical features alchemist roll thing.
Ooh, okay.
What does that mean? Does that mean that I got a 5 rather than a 4?
No. So rather than a standard effect, which would have been just the door coming thing, it's a greater effect. In this case, it means that there is no evidence that the door has ever been damaged.
Okay.
You managed to move the thing. So if somebody comes back here, they're just going to see the guard is gone and don't know what happened. Cool.
Would the gambling remove my stress, or is that not? Have I not done that long enough?
No, in terms of that, the vice stuff, that's a slightly different thing. But this will play into your vice, yeah.
Cool.
So you actually get experience for this.
That's a 6.
6, cool.
I've got 3, 5, and 6.
So you succeed perfectly. So somebody puts up the publican of the area, puts up a shot glass on the thing, and he goes, I'd rather make it interesting. I'm gonna throw it. And you're like, you're cocky as shit at this point. You're like, I can hit this. I've done this before. He throws it in the air. And for a moment, you know where it's gonna go. It's gonna go right in front of your target's face. And you have a moment of hesitation where you're thinking, if I just shoot, there's a good chance it will hit her in the face and I'll kill her anyways, and then maybe I can get. And you're like, no, and then that thought leaves immediately because you're like, I don't get away with that. Bang! You shoot it out of the air.
Also, I don't know if you did the music on purpose, but that like orchestra background was perfectly timed.
I might be changing music very rapidly, so yes. So the glass shatters in the air. Everyone screams. As because some of these people wouldn't have heard that you're going to do this. It's a large enough space for them not to notice that kind of thing. But a gunshot in this area, the steam pistols make this strange noise. It's very audible, very noticeable. It's not like a gunshot like we would think of, but it's like a relief of pressure, and there is like kind of a small pressure wave that comes out from it as well. So it's both audible and visible. For anyone who knows what they are, multiple officers inside, the ones that are armed, trained for this stuff, are reach for weapons and things, and then everyone starts clapping, and so everything's okay again. And yeah, so we can
Still
reduce
got it.
we can reduce that clock by 1. As the two people come inside inside the serving area, you enter into you're in the correct clothes. None of you are in like things that you shouldn't be in. You've already said you've got like servants' clothes. You come in, you're in a kitchen area. And there are other servers who are just like looking at you like, get to work, go, come. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll start by blending in by getting to work.
Okay, so it's
I'll is there someone that's making up like a punch bowl type thing, or you know?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Because I'll start by assisting them with the punch bowl stuff.
Okay, so you assist him with the punch bowl. You're sitting there in front of it. He's pouring various liquids and things. It looks like he's making. It looks like he's pulling in a couple of different things. It's looking like a fruit thing, but he's also adding in. He's got a couple of things to his left that are like extra ingredients. The one thing you notice most of all is a big bottle of Glide, which is a whiskey that's made from dream fruit. It has a slightly euphoric effect to it, similar to absinthe, but a little different. He also has a number of powders next to it as well that looks like they are a very illicit paraphernalia of some kind that may or may not be added to it depending on what he chooses to do. But this is just flavor stuff if you choose to use it or not. Yeah, he's just making punch. He's cutting fruit, things of that nature.
Okay. Can I try and make a really a fun party punch?
Fun party punch. How fun?
You know, like I was saying that I had a bubbling, smoking goblet before.
Yeah.
I'm looking for something like that. You know, something that's got lots of different colours. And colour changing potentially, and it's bubbling, and it's got smoke coming up, sort of steam coming off the top of it.
Sure. So do you want to make a single drink, or do you want to make a big punch bowl, just so I can understand
I'm making a big punch bowl.
Sure. You got tons of ingredients. This guy doesn't really look like he's in charge, so yeah, shoot. What roll do you want to make?
I'm going to say Tinkers again, because I know how different things come together, and this is what I do on our own bar.
Sure.
Do I also get to add my plus, or do I take the +1 result level by being the alchemist?
So instead of standard, it'd be great. This is a risky position still, because there are potentially bad things that could happen as a result of this.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna take 2 stress.
Sure.
To get an extra dice.
While he's making that drink, and we figure out what is our other background person doing?
I was looking to assist with that somehow, but it feels like Horatio is looking to make it more visually appealing. Is that right? Like
Yeah. My plan is to prove myself as a good cocktail maker by doing this, so that then people will start asking for more things. Like, if they know that there are good cocktails coming out, they're going to start asking for more good cocktails. And this is just building. This is laying the foundation for getting all of them good and drunk.
So, whereas Horatio is making it visually different, I would like to add an effect to the punch.
Sure.
And I don't know how this will play. I'm trying to set something up for later.
Right.
And I would like to add something to it that makes the drinker more attuned to the ghost to the veil, like similar to how like it opens up your sight, your true sight a little bit. Just a little, just so I can start manipulating that later on.
I will say you look where you are a student of magic. You are a student of magic within Arbor. You know there are two things that you could potentially use. Is your character familiar with drug paraphernalia?
Yeah, so I picked the weird vice. So I think I will be. I have this in my downtime.
Okay.
I'll partake in this. So I'm well familiar with its effects.
Okay, so I will give you that for free because it's part of your. There are two drugs that exist within the world of Arbor that potentially will do what you want. Bright, which will enhance everyone's magical abilities. It is a powder. It can be mixed into this thing. And Haunt, which is also is usually injected, but could be ingested. It would just take longer to affect. Haunt specifically will let everyone see ghosts.
That's the one I'm looking for.
Okay. So what I want then is you need to determine which, because the powders aren't labeled. You're basically trying to on site figure out which one of these is which and trying to remember. So something along those lines. So you can pitch me a roll and I'll say it will.
Could I argue that any substance that will let you commune with spirits will have itself an attunement to spirits, and therefore an attune roll can see.
I like that thinking. Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna trust the 3 die that I have.
Sure.
That's a 5.
5. Cool. And Ryan, what did you get?
I got a 6 and a 5.
Cool.
Nice.
So the punch looks beautiful, and at the last moment, you watch as sorry, I always terrible with names. Clave grabs a powder from the side and dumps it into the punch barrel. Has no change to the visual effects or the actual like consistency of the thing, but there is a feeling you get. You're not sure exactly what it is, but there is something weird about the potion now. Or this libation that you've created. And I can reveal what you actually put in later.
I would also like to say that with my 6, I've also got that +1 to the result level.
Okay. So it is eye-wateringly beautiful. It was going to be standard effect. It is now great effect. It is eye-wateringly beautiful. It is amazingly smoking and bubbling and popping, and it's actually making these little like almost tiny little fireworks are coming off this thing. You have done excellent work. The server who was making it next to you looks over. Cool, blimey! What have you done? And is just flabbergasted by this.
What wheel it on out then?
Yeah, and he like grabs this huge punch bowl.
And you're going to pat him on the shoulder. Go. It's just really, really, really rub it in that we know what we're doing back here.
Yeah, mister. And takes this punch bowl and brings it out to the front. Meanwhile, Calcifer in the front room, you see this huge punch bowl, double arm width kind of thing. He's like this. The server who's bringing it is like a trolley at this point and pushing it through. Everyone gasps and awes as this punch bowl enters the room. I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing. Wow. And there is a this one I think. There is a moment as everyone kind of like rushes forwards to this punch bowl to get a sip, as it were. The server, on your advice, says, "Gentlemen and ladies, we're having cocktails. If you wish to order some, the kitchen is happy to make more." And people going to the bar in the area, but the punch bowl is kind of like the centerpiece of the area now. People are crowding around and things of that nature.
So with the, I don't know if it's already an open bar or not, but with the money that I won from the bet, can I spend that buying around for everyone?
Yeah,
Does that go
sure.
further? Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure,
Just
sure.
Just to add
This
to the
one-
merriment, really.
This bar was happy to change out the staff, but they were not happy to give up the money from
Yeah.
a potential bunch of drunk cops, essentially.
And we are trying to get them all good and drunk.
Yeah, just
Mhm.
buy them around. Cool.
You watch your target walk over to the punch bowl and begin taking a cup for herself. She gets it ladled out. She is the highest ranking officer in the room. There are no one. The only two higher ranking people than her are the deputy commissioner and the commissioner, and they are never supposed to be in the same place at the same time. So she is the highest ranking official in the room. So she's constantly being mobbed. She's like third highest in the hierarchy of the Green Cloaks, which is going to change some lore if you actually manage to kill her.
Nice. And I just had a wonderful idea that I wish I'd thought of about 5 minutes ago.
Oh.
Two substances which, when taken together, will become poison. Will actually have a poisonous effect, and then have one of those in the punch bowl, so everyone gets that one, and then we just need to administer the other half to her specifically. But they're completely benign on their own.
Why? Why is that? You can figure that out. You know what's in the first punch bowl. You can go, my character knows this. My character has these things. My character understands all the things that I put in the punch bowl, minus maybe whatever the hell he put in.
Yeah. If you're happy for me to retcon that I thought of that in advance.
It's not so much a retcon. It's your character is smart and can go, wait a minute, I put all this shit in. We can change the plan. I don't need to use this poison. I can use something that's less detectable. Or might take longer to enact, or something along those lines. Anyways, moving on, because I want to kind of like get to Calcifer and how he's going to get her to get the drink. And the thing is you need to. Calcifer, what are you doing in the front room?
So
I would say you recognize your compatriot's handiwork. This could only have come from your friend.
Yeah. So when I ordered the round for everyone, I'll start handing those out, but make sure I've got a round from the one that I've ordered to mask the fact that I'm not drinking from the punch bowl.
Right. Okay.
Just in case.
Just in case they've decided to just poison everyone in the room.
Yeah, exactly. But once I see everyone else has started drinking, I'm actually a little bit more confident now. But that was.
I need to start another clock.
Yeah. So.
Or for when the ghost powder kicks in.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Can I? So I've bought this round, handed those out, and then I'll go. The retired life is treating me well. Can I request a? Can I request the house special? Like,
Okay,
can I ask them to feed that back to the kitchen? Can we have the house special cocktail?
So we have a flashback really quickly. As you have this, you say, can I request the house special? We have flashback to this meeting room underneath the bar where you're discussing what the code word is be, and it's all said, you all agree at the same time, the house special. And that's like, and then we flash back, and then this bartender looks at you like, all right, goes back in the back. We need a house special. I don't. I'm a bit confused. What's happening here?
Sounds like some idiot thinks we got a special here. Tell you what, I'll whip something up.
All right, cool. So you begin concocting something. While that is happening and you're waiting for the drink and you're creating things, are you doing anything, Clave?
No, I don't think we need to right now. Like,
yeah, you're just waiting for things to occur.
Something to go right or waiting for something to go wrong. So I'll just mill about in the kitchen helping out.
That's fine. Yeah, you're kind of just milling about. Take a quick Cool. So you hear on the other side of the door, at around this time when he's starting to make the special, you hear, "Oh, now where's he gone? He's gone off and squandered all that. Oh, has he gone walkabouts? He's supposed to be a good one." And they're looking around. His wife and kids are going to be pissed off. He got fired from the force for this.
Oh no!
He was 5 days from retirement.
Of course he was. Oh no, we killed him, didn't we?
Yeah.
No.
Just buried him underground, alive.
Yeah.
It's porous.
When he was consumed by the streets, he was
don't know
alive. But like a magic 8-ball, the outlook does not look good.
You could have left it. Could have left an air hole.
Schrodinger's green cloak.
Yeah. Schrodinger's green cloak. And then the door opens on this side, and because of your great success with your ask earlier, you look, and you've seen Constable Leary. He was a guy checking people in, and all of the other wait staff closes the door, and then you hear a new green cloak has taken up station at that spot, and they need to close that clock off. That would have happened earlier and would have happened when you were making your big concoction, which would have immediately drawn their attention. So Mike's earlier save there kind of saved your butts.
Yeah.
Okay, delete that one. Cool. Right, you're making the house special. You're waiting for the house special up front. And then the house special is complete. But you need to make a roll for that.
I do. Tinker again?
I believe so, yeah. Alchemical.
I'm really leaning into this alchemical.
That's fair. The other thing I need to understand is, what is the effect you're shooting for in terms of what do you want to happen when she drinks it?
Can we flash back to where we discussed this?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, flashback real quick.
It needs to be a very delayed effect.
Yeah.
It is deadly, but it's not immediate.
No, it needs to be immediate. Poisoned in a bar full of people, no one's gonna be looking at us. Whereas if
well, no, because I specifically ordered the house special, and I will be handing it to her. If it kills, so if it does kill her immediately, I need to know that before I hand her a drink that I personally ordered.
That's why it's good we're having this conversation as a flashback many hours ago.
This is one of the best things about the Blades in the Dark system is kind of you can plan in the middle of a session, as it were.
I'm thinking a heart attack with a delayed reaction heart attack.
Yeah.
Natural causes looking thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. That's
there we
fine.
go. Yep.
You have your effect. You're going to effect. This is it's still risky and it'll be greater because of your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Rich, do you want to give me some? Do you want to spend some stress to give me some help?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Cool.
I am still listening. I've just got to pick up what the cat's dropped. He said.
I've picked up the cat himself. Okay. Yeah, this is 4d4. I mean, this is it. This is the roll. I am also going to spend 2 stress to add a 5th.
Sure. That.
Two 5s.
2 5s. Interesting. Okay. You concoct. This potion was made ages back. The only problem is that it was made in the context that she had any other things inside of her.
Well, if you remember, I've changed the plan so that it would react specifically with the other things inside her.
Okay. So you kind of like and then you're like, as you're making this thing, it's like I really hope that we have all the stuff we need when we get there, and I really hope that we have nothing strange gets added. Because you remember.
Yeah.
So
I'm just internally sighing, going, I wish I could just ask outright what he added.
Like you kind of go, it should be fine. And you dump it in. And you're like, okay, it's fine. So the question really quickly. I know that Calcifer specifically said he did not have any of the punch because he was avoiding it because just in case. The two of you, did you have any punch?
No.
No.
We're serving staff. We don't partake.
Yeah, we're not allowed to drink it.
But you might have tasted before it had gone out. This is my kind of like idea. And
okay, if
you bet your ass the serving staff had a taste before it went out, especially the guy who brought the punch bowl.
Okay, if I'd had a taste of it, I would have had a taste of it before I added the active ingredient.
Right.
Which presumably would have also been before the ghost dust got added.
Yep, that's fair. That's what you're gonna do. Cool. So you checked it for taste, then added something that was poisonous.
Well, no, added something that was half the 2-stage poisonous. Yes.
Yeah, reactive. Yeah. Okay. So it's fine. It doesn't. It just so I know for certain other things. As you send this drink out, Calcifer picks it up, and you begin walking towards your intended target. I think this is going to happen at exactly the same time. So you get to your target. She's mobbed because she's the most senior here, and they're asking her questions about work, and they're asking like to get funding, and like why don't we have these? Look, the silver cloaks they've got the new steam pistol Mark V. We only have the Mark IIIs. We're 2 stages behind them. I know we have deals with the Gilded to make this happen, but that kind of talk is kind of like going on. And you approach, and she looks desperate to get away from this situation. She doesn't have a drink in her hand currently, which is very good for you. So take it away.
So, can I borrow? What was her name again? Sorry.
Adina.
Adina, you're without a drink, and I'll extend a hand through the mob to like clear a path for her.
Yeah, you kind of push it. I would say you're kind of making a sway roll to use your kind of like general swagger and things of that nature.
Cool. So I don't have any points in that. So
could I add a stress in terms of he's got the very fancy eye-catching cocktail?
Sure.
Cool. So does that just bring me up to 1 dice rather than a disadvantage? And if I expend 2 stress, that'll give me 2 dice. Only because
I will give you a devil's bargain as well.
Oh, okay.
If you want an extra one, you can have it, but everyone here will know your face at that point.
Do they not already?
Not all of them, because remember the Green Cloaks is pretty big. Or imagine like you're an LA cop. Does every LA cop know every other LA cop?
Yeah, that's a good point. I know. Yeah.
So with the devil's bargain, is it that the bad stuff, so the fact that everyone will know his face, that will happen regardless of a success or a failure?
Yes, that happens regardless.
I kind of. Yeah, I might take it. Because. Fine, I was at the party. Like.
Yeah.
If
you were the one who gave Adina the drink.
Oh no! Yes, I see what you mean.
But in theory, the drink won't. The drink won't be traced. In theory, if I've done my job well enough.
Yep.
Cool. I'll have faith in my. I will take the devil's bargain.
Sure.
That's 3 dice total.
Yep, that is a 3, a 5, and a 6.
Ooh. So as you kind of clear the way, everyone recognizes you, but Adina recognizes you, and you were like, I don't know that. I don't know the commissioner at the 3rd ring. Why would I know that? You worked in like the 2nd or the 1st ring. You wouldn't know the boss. But she goes, I recognize you. And she goes, we were recruits together once, long time ago. Yeah. And you're like, oh shit, I do know this person. and you realize you came up in the green cloaks at the same time. Her pathways diverged long ago from yours, but you trained with her very specifically. Which is why everyone around this now recognizes you, and now everyone is looking at you of like, oh, this is like somebody who's like was a green cloak and was clearly like, from, and then can tell stories about Adina. And you hand her this drink, and she swigs it down. Almost immediately, she's like, yep, I know this person. He's trusted. And it's at this point that all of those little failures begin to start to creep.
Yeah.
You hear the first of many screams from the busboy, the one that brought in the punch bowl in the first place, screams and hits the floor and slams into the back as he says, and you begin hearing multiple people start like screaming that and saying that, and you watch as Adina's eyes in front of you. You got a 5 on your concoction roll, I believe.
Yes.
Go black. Her head goes back, and just something comes out of her mouth. Something white and silvery just pours out of her mouth, and her body crumples to the floor. And it is pandemonium is here, as Adina's spirit is now visible even to you, but it seems to be more so to the other green cloaks, and some of them are going for their guns, and it's just insanity in here. And you hear screaming, from the back, it's just nuts as green cloaks go for weapons. And you got a 6 on your sway roll, but they all know you did it. So I think they pull guns, and 2 of them point at you before Adina just kind of like launches herself forward. Right. With all that information, let's start with the boys in the back to give Mike some time to figure out what the fuck he's going to do in this terrible situation he finds himself in.
Okay, I think blend into herd mentality. Like, if the kitchen staff here screams, are they looking panicked, and are they likely to bolt and run?
So you remember that the kitchen staff are also green cloaks. You see a few of them pull weapons from underneath the various kitchen counters, and some of them like charge out into the front, and that's what they do. You two are supposed to be green cloaks. So it's depending on what you do. So their actions are that, your actions are whatever. You need to kind of work out what you want to do.
So based on the item system, I can just have a pistol, right?
Yep. You can just have a pistol.
Could I? So like those that are drawing pistols are running into the main.
Yep.
Can I grab my pistol out and then just sort of like go against the door, like so not going in, but like ready to take. Like, as if I'm about to sort of aid whoever's in there, sort of.
Yeah, you're taking cover to. Yeah, sure. That. I don't think that requires a roll. That's not like there's no one who's going to be like, ooh. But yeah, what are you doing?
I'm going to flank him.
On the inside, sure.
Yeah, no, I'm going to take the opposite position on the other side of the door frame.
Sure. So imagining this long kitchen with bunches of pots and pans and various flames going. You two on either side. You've got your steam pistols out, and people rush by you as they go into the main room. And we go back to Calcifer with 2 steam pistols pointed at him, and the angry Adina, this now newly created spirit above you, recently murdered. But seemingly unable to speak beyond a horrific scream.
Okay, so can I look terrified and then say, don't stand there, help me, and then can I attempt to revive her?
Oh, interesting. So yeah, her body, like there is a silvery thread. Yeah. What roll do you want to make for that?
I don't even know what medical would come under. So,
it could come under a couple of things. Attune, because technically you're dealing with magics and those kinds of things. It could come under study, like the study of medicine, as it were.
I guess as it appears that she's been magically affected, I'll go attune.
Sure.
And as I do that, I'll once again repeat, God help me.
Okay. So I would give you. There's probably a third option here, which is
Okay.
like either sway or command, maybe, because you're kind of like giving an order. So any of those kind of 3 or 4 options. See, this is the thing. Is like you're choosing which ability, and you're kind of like selling me on the ability that you're rolling.
So, from a revival point of view, I obviously don't want that to work. But I want it to look like I am. So I actually much prefer the command option,
Sure.
where I'm commanding them to help me.
Yeah.
That's still a risky role, but I'd feel more comfortable stressing over that to improve the odds.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
So your position now is desperate because of the situation that you now find yourself in.
Yeah.
So which means you get an XP point for that.
Cool. Yeah, because I'm kind of in the moment. I'm taking the point that if you're gonna shoot me, but I'm trying to save a life, kind of thing. That's
Right.
the kind of command that I'm.
Yeah, sure.
That is a 5.
So success with complications. Okay. So there's an easy one here. You lean down because it's a desperate thing. You lean down as you're going to lean down to kind of like give her what a approximation of CPR. One of them shoots you almost instantly. They see you move, they fire, they shoot you through the arm. It's the seconds, like you have a wounded shoulder. Basically, your basically your left arm is kind of it hurts a bit. You can use it just about. But you take a -1 dice to all future checks that involve that arm.
And was
you
that
go
the
down-
left arm?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I genuinely didn't hear which one.
No, I didn't say. I just said arm.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you lean down and you begin to, as more people are screaming, saying about ghosts. Some of them are, due to the effects of an amount of haunt that went into the various things. There are like other effects. Blah, blah, blah. There are multiple people screaming. They're screaming about ghosts, seeing things. Some of them are like standing in a corner, and they look to be talking to people, like talking to like their grandmothers or other long dead relatives. One is kneeling on the ground and seems to be talking to something at about waist height. Could be a little person. Who knows what? It's just nuts in here because you now having been on the other side of this effect, you sitting in the back room in the kitchen, you remember that haunt draws the people that are connected to the ghost to them. So all of these people are seeing dead relatives. Some of them are seeing potential people that they've killed in the line of duty. It's just insanity here. And there's a few green cloaks around Calcifer that are trying to revive this person. As the door swings, it's one of those swingy doors that goes chung 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 chung, and then you see Calcifer sitting in the middle of this like crowd of green cloaks, who are basically surrounded and pointing guns outwards. And as he's trying to revive her, and clearly there's this just hovering ghost above that seems to be just like ready to rake down at the various green cloaks. So yeah, now you're on the ground. You've kind of convinced everyone to do this, but you've taken a bullet. What are you doing, the two in the back?
Yes, yeah. Speaking of ghosts ready to rake green cloaks,
Yeah.
I have the ability called Compel, where I can force a nearby ghost to obey a command.
You do.
Could I force the ghost of Andina to attack some of her fellow green cloaks?
You can certainly do that. That is an attune roll to make. It allows you to make that roll in the first place. Like, I can now control ghosts. And it makes it...
Could you force her to just move on?
Yeah. But you have a problem.
Yeah.
One of
If
your...
she-
Okay.
Yeah. If Calcifer's attempts to revive her visibly fail, I don't think we're quite ready for that consequence yet.
At the same time, though,
I'm thinking
with all
more
this other
chaos.
ghostly chaos that's been going on, would
not
they
every-
necessarily?
Not every green cloak has consumed the punch in order to be able to see ghosts.
No, but they can see that weird shit is going on, and he didn't get drinks for all of them.
True. So it's more of a question of what is.
So, as part of the attune, as part of the compel, I can force the ghost to appear, and I am not supernaturally frightened by that ghost. So
Yep.
could I make her, as part of this compel, make her appear to everyone who didn't take the punch?
Yep, you can do that. You can make her more supernaturally frightening as well. The thing is you can see her. All of you can see her. You did not drink any of the punch. She's the only ghost you could see. What you might be able to do is make all the other ghosts visible.
Ooh.
And there are a lot in this room right now. Most times, most people can't see them. Haunt allows you to see them, pierces that veil. But it's up to you. You have lots of options, and anything you can
Could I
choose.
compel her to accuse someone else in the room?
Yeah. Cool idea. Great. Do it.
Like, I don't think we know enough about the people in this room to have a specific. I'll just pick one at random, I guess.
What about
One second.
the serving guy?
Okay.
He had a bit of a big wiggle.
Okay.
So you wanted cake.
Okay, thank you. Night. Alright.
What about the guy who was carting the drinks out?
Yeah.
You only needed to get a point at somebody, so
Yeah, that or the guard on the back gate who's mysteriously disappeared.
that's true.
You can't really point at him though.
Yeah, I think a visible target.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
To take the
cool.
focus away from you, basically.
I'm happy. I've already been shot once, so someone pointing at not me is
Yeah.
much appreciated.
Cool.
Anyone lend me some stress?
Yeah, I'll give you a stress. I'm not sure how to.
You have various tonics and tinctures. You go drink this.
Yeah, just get a syringe. Just...
Actually, you have some bright, which enhances magical ability.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I toss him some bright.
Yep. You and you get this like slight glowing eyes for a little bit, and you enhance magical ability, and you get 4 dice.
I rolled 3, 6.
Whoa! I'm glad I used the bright.
Jeez. Okay. So it's perfect. And not only that, when you use this, you go, and there is a moment of like something washes over her, like her color shifts, like, and changes to a color that you recognize as that's my individual magical effect. Like that's my color. I know that, and now I've got control of her. And you issue this command, accuse somebody. And rather than, in this case, I think it would be, and ordinarily I think it would be like she would just accuse somebody randomly and there might be some confusion. Instead, she accuses somebody very specific. And she points at a retired green cloak, and one Calcifer recognizes as one who was exceptionally dirty. Oh, no, I've got a better idea. She points
At her girlfriend?
to her girlfriend.
Yeah.
She points right at her and goes and just points and screams. And the scream is deafening and horrific. The girlfriend looks up at her, falls backwards, and just begins like blubbering and saying, and the other green cloaks who know her, know this person has a gambling problem and know she's dirty and has been turned, like turn and round on her while you're trying to like CPR. And there's a moment of like, you have no green cloaks around you. You could try and get away at this point. So Calcifer, I guess it's to you. What are you doing?
God, that's a tricky one. Time-wise, how long have I been doing CPR for, roughly? Like how?
Maybe a few minutes, like a minute at best. Like this has happened very rapidly, and there's a lot of chaos going on.
I mean, CPR for a minute with no response isn't.
Don't forget that you're also bleeding out of a shoulder wound,
Yeah.
so you can't do the CPR very easily.
Is there a green cloak who's not rounded on?
They've all rounded on her.
Okay, I was gonna get someone to take over.
You could grab somebody. You could just pull them down and go like.
Yeah. Do I want? Sorry. Is it plausible to give up after a minute? That doesn't seem very long.
She's like looming over her girlfriend as this control is now perfect on her. She's like looming on and like beginning to like bring down her like large, like everything about Indina is enhanced in this. Her fingers are longer, her arms are longer. They're like stretched thin. It's like she is a gross, horrible caricature of herself to the point where it's just utter terror.
Is there a tablecloth or something on any of the bar
Sure.
tables?
Yep.
Can I grab that and just cover the body as if to signify there's nothing more I can do?
Yeah, sure. You can just cover
yeah.
over. That's perfectly fine. That's not even like. But it's more of like, are you going to run away or are you going to stay? How are you getting away from the situation?
I think I will. If I leave now, it's super suspicious, and everyone knows I was there. So I think I've got to stay for the aftermath. I will stay and then try to patch up my arm.
You are seeing a few green cloaks leave from the front door as well, though. Like a couple of the more cowardly ones you kind of like, yeah, they weren't on the take, but they were not very useful, kind of thing. Yeah, you can sit down there and just kind of like patch your arm up.
What I will do actually is I will step just outside, so that if they want to come back and ask questions, so it doesn't look suspicious, but it's like I'm getting air. But I will keep an eye on the side door, so I'm kind of standing by if needed, so it doesn't look too suspicious. But if my colleagues come round, then I'll take that as my cue to leave. But I'm kind of just stood just outside getting some air because I've lost a friend. So
yeah, sure. So you kind of just exit the front door. I think you need to kind of like move your way through the crowds and that kind of stuff. So you want to give me some kind of roll there?
Yeah. I guess that would be. Is that finesse? I guess is I'm. Like,
if you want to, you can prowl if you want. You like to make yourself like a little bit more invisible if you want.
Mike, the idea is to look at what skills you're good at and see if you can bullshit a reason to use it.
Gotcha.
Yes, that is part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Prowl then to just to move out without attracting as much attention as possible. That is a 4.
So it's still successful with complications. So I think you get about. So I think I know this is. So you get about halfway. Another green cloak puts his arm underneath you and walks out with you, and then sits down next to you and begins bandaging your arm. It's like
perfect. Cool.
I saw what happened. Everything's going crazy in there, and I saw my dead mother. I don't know what the hell's going on. And you see, like he's now standing outside. He's like there is real terror in this guy's eye, but he is like gripping your hand now because he's seeing something, but you don't know what it is. The two of you in the back, what are you doing? You've now seen pandemonium. You see your friend leave by the front door. Oh,
Rich, you muted.
So yeah, sorry. When this first erupted, like half of the staff got their guns and went bursting into the main room. What are the other staff in here doing? Did one half leave and one half go confront?
I think at this point, all the staff are in the front room trying to calm people down, trying to pin people down. Some of them recognize what's happened in terms of they understand the effects of haunt and are trying to administer, like, they're either trying to knock people out so they don't see what they're seeing, or they're trying to administer various, like, what are they called? Like the stuff that you deal with, like for heroines and that kind of stuff.
Narcan.
Yeah, like they're trying to like the steampunk equivalent of Narcan to various people within the organization and trying to just pin them down and stop them from screaming and running around. Because some of them are did some really bad shit, obviously, because that is the world this is. So
if all the focus is in the front room, I'm going to sneak out the back.
all right,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
same.
the two of you, you can make some kind of roll here.
Got one prowl. Right.
I also have one prowl. The only thing I can think of is going back to a flashback to say that I've got some kind of potion that summons a mist. I can throw on the ground to make a mist come up.
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Because I haven't used all my loadout, so...
So yeah, that's pretty fine. Yeah, if you got a misty potion, sure.
Okay.
A fog potion.
Fog potion. And I'll roll my tinker for it.
Yep, sure. And that will cover your escape as well, I think, in this case.
Okay.
You get a nice freebie here.
4 and 5.
4 and 5. So it's okay. So this is the complication. As
Plus
you open the
1
door,
result level to my roll.
Yep. So it's a great effect, but you still get a complication. So as you open the door, you catch eyes with the green cloak that was stationed out the other side, the new one, the one you haven't dealt with. You go to pick up the bottle. The green cloak spots you, goes, "What the fuck is that? You're not supposed to be." And he knows what you're going to do. He takes a shot at you and shoots you in where he's going to shoot you.
I
Probably
forgot
shoot
there was
you
a
in the shoulder.
guy outside that door, but all the screams didn't pull him in or anything.
Yeah, he was told guard there, and I made a roll for him anyway. So he goes, pulls his gun, boom, shoots, and then the mist goes out. You take a damage. You have a wounded right shoulder, and then the mist fills the hallway and comes into the kitchen as well. And you two of you can kind of make your way around at this point. The guard has no idea what the fuck happened, and it got like a steam bomb in his face, essentially.
Does resist work?
Can I?
So if you wanted to, you could resist the effects of this. I haven't done it yet because most of the consequences are kind of, I feel they make them more fun. In this case, you could resist the effects, and what you do is you click prowess, or in this case, you would click insight, and it resists the bad effect of it. But you'll take stress, 6 minus whatever you roll.
Oh, so I can't bargain you a different roll or something like that.
No, you have to. It's the roll you made and the stat above it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So Ryan could resist the shot in the arm if you wanted to. You've got a lot of stress, I think.
I've got a lot of stress. I'll take the wound to the shoulder.
You'll take the wound. So you've got an acid burned hand and a wounded right shoulder. So you take.
I mean, the acid burned
-1
hand's
dice.
old hat.
At this point, it's like, well, fuck, it'll heal.
I don't have any. I haven't had any fingerprints for the last 5 years. It's fine.
So the last, I think the last thing that happens as you're coming away is you exit the steam, because that's what it probably would be, is like concentrated steam. You burst out from it. There are tons of green cloak cars all around. They've apparently called in backup. There are tons of green cloak cars out front. And now you sitting at the front, Calcifer, you see them come around the corner of the alleyway. What are you guys doing? I think this will probably be like close to the end.
What am I doing, or what are they doing? Sorry.
But both, because now you're kind of like, you're on a street and you're at the front, sitting down, having your arm thing, while this basically this constable is trying to deal with your arm at the same time, seeing some really bad like ghosts in front of him. He's trying to ignore them. He's trying to do his best, but yeah, he's not having a good time of it. And those two come bursting out of the steam. Meanwhile, there's cars like everywhere.
So, can we flash back to? Oh no, actually, that could raise more suspicion. Because I was going to say one of the treatments they've got is knocking people out, right?
Yep.
But actually knocking, like getting him to drink a knockout potion.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
You could lie to him and tell him it's Narcan. You could say this will help, and he could just go, whoop.
Or or I'm honest and I say this'll help you sleep until
Until it wears off. Yeah.
until it wears off.
Or you could actually give him Narcan and send him back in.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Can I do that? We'd
Sure.
have to flash back to someone giving me Narcan or me.
Yeah,
taking Narcan.
Oh, I think I keep it in the box over there. I never use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just ride out the high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I say, take this? It'll end the effects.
Yeah, so that's one more of your loadout. So you've taken the pistol. Yeah, it's fine.
Yep. I'm gonna get this looked at, and I will
You
make a move to leave.
Yep. So you hand the Narcan to the guy. He takes it instantly. He's feeling a lot better. I don't think you need a roll here because there's nothing you're really like. There's no like he's going to take it because he's terrified and he's wanting for.
Yeah.
Like you could give him like terrible shit at this point and he would probably take it. So you take that. You see your friends over to the left. What are they doing as they burst out of the steam bath, basically?
I think I've got my arm over Clave's shoulder because I've got a bullet wound in me,
You do.
and I'm going to really ham that up.
Okay. So the plan is for the three of you are basically making the same roll, which is you're trying to convince everyone that you're going for medical aid. Your green cloak's going for medical aid away from this area. Cool. One of you can make the roll for everyone. That is the thing you can do. It's either probably a consort or a sway, or you could use. I could be convinced for prowl maybe as well.
I've got consort.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could do would be to try and bullshit to use Tinker again, and I think I might have overused it.
Has anyone got one stress that they can?
Oh, you have one.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've currently got 5 stress, so I could expend 2 to bring me up to 3 because I feel if we can get away cleanly, this is going to
Cool.
be.
I will also give you a stress.
Can 2 people assist?
No. One
no.
one person. Can
Oh,
assist.
okay.
Yeah, so that's the limit. Cool. Good luck.
A 3, a 5, and a 5.
5. So success with complication. Okay. So I think I know what the complication is. Really simple. As you kind of meet up with them, you 3 are walking away from this area, but you're seen. Basically, the green cloaks in the area. The couple of green cloaks, not all of them, but enough to be like they were in the area and they were seen leaving the scene. Something's up. But you leave, and you get back to your hideout, and you get away to your hidey hole, and that's where you kind of, and a few maybe like hours later, a parcel arrives at your doorstep of a whole shitload of money for a job well done, along with a note that says, next time you go a bit bigger. And given the time, that's a good time to end as well. There is a whole, like, you deal with the vices, you deal with the stress, blah, 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 blah. And there are other mechanics that I kind of didn't introduce, but that gives you a good flavor of how the game runs and plays.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that.
We've used a bit more stress than we ideally would do.
No,
Because
this is all right.
I remember last time we were spending stress like it was going out of fashion.
Well, I mean, I've only got 2 stress left before it.
Same.
Yeah.
I've only got 3 stress total.
Yeah,
But
so-
Glaive kept it tight, like nice and tight. You also rolled well as well when you did your attune check, so.
Yeah. We got a fair few 6s, which I think helped.
But yeah, I believe that you don't remove all stress in your downtime. It's in like you remove 1 stress per coin that you spend or something like that.
No, you remove 1 stress. You make a die roll, basically. And it is the lowest stat you have, or lowest, like, either of resolve, prowess, or insight. You roll the lowest of those 3 as a total. So in Horatio's case, he would roll 2d6 and take the lowest. But in Calcifer and Clay states, they do 1d6, and that's it, and they roll flat. And you take that amount of stress. However, having a low amount of stress is kind of dangerous because you can overindulge in your various vices. If you overindulge, bad things happen. So having 3 stress is like, you don't have to engage your vice at all. You can choose not to, as long as you don't have an existing trauma. But you can, if you, like, having low stress is complicated because you're like, okay, I've got 3, but we'll need a lot for the next job. So do I go for it? And yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Cool.
How does XP work at the end there? Do you go up a level for each XP, or is it X number of XP? Or
so you go up. So your levels, you gain new abilities. So there's two kind of things. If you did a desperate roll in a category, you get a point in that category.
Cool.
And I think basically all the last rolls were desperate. So like if you did any rolls past when the ghost appears, all those are desperate rolls. I think there's like one at least from each of you.
I believe mine was a tinker.
I did.
Yeah.
Mine was command. Yay.
Yep. And then you get a tick above resolve. And I think you did a couple of tunes, Rich, past the ghost stuff. So you get 2 in resolve there. And then once you fill those 6 boxes up, you get to add a point to the bottom bit.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so it's above the thing. The other thing you get is if you solve the problem with your specific class's thing, and it varies based on the different ones you are, like a leeches, blah blah blah. You address the challenge with technical skill or mayhem. You get two for that because you did it twice. Because you can only get a maximum of 2.
Okay.
And that's in the ability. That's in this middle one here, this abilities one.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go. And then for the Hound, you address a challenge with tracking or violence. You did before the mission started. You tracked her down. No, Rich did that. Tracking or violence. Yeah, I don't think you did actually.
No.
Okay.
So I did, however, I expressed my beliefs drives heritage or background.
Yeah, that's
pushing
true.
the gambling. So.
Yep. And then the Whisper one is you used knowledge or arcane power, and you fucking definitely did. At least twice. So this gives you 2 there. Yeah, and then when you fill those up, you get new abilities, or you get new powers, or you get new stuff. And that's how broadly this thing works.
Nice.
Cool.
And you didn't kill a major character, you killed like a 3rd tier character, and they were all supposed to be in jeopardy anyway, so that's kind of cool. So now both Inspector Maria, who is under was already under a fuckload of scrutiny, is now under even more, if she's not dead in the room. And you killed Adina Flint, the chief inspector of the Third Ring. So there are no chief inspectors at all in Arbor anymore.
Ooh.
They all died. 2 of them retired. 2 of them died, and their bodies were dumped on the head precinct area. So the other 2 quit once that happened. They're like, no, fuck this. we retire. We're out. We don't deal with this shit. Yeah. So there you go. You got a Tate. Yeah. Cool.
In terms of epilogue type stuff, then,
Mm-hmm.
how much suspicion do we come under?
So actually, there's a chart for that. Right. So you gained two times. You gained extra heat, which was the one time that Calcifer was seen with all of the people, and he was the person seen with the drinks, and when you guys were leaving. So that's 2 as a starting point. You also gain an automatic heat for killing somebody, and you actually killed 2 people. That guy died.
No.
We didn't spend the time to bring his unconscious body out of the ground, so even if we'd left air holes, he would have starved under there.
Yeah.
No, the brute has got intravenous into his arm, and he's pumping.
We still made someone disappear.
That's true. But yeah, that would add extra heat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get 1 for extra like craziness. So 5. You get 5 heat total.
Ooh.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh no.
So quite a lot. You're not wanted, and you can on your downtime. You get 2 downtime activities. One of them can be stress. One of them can be reducing heat. You can do other things as well, like you can make things and all that. There's lots of things you could do. And you also gain crew XP as well. For each item below. Yeah, you killed somebody. You killed 2 people. And you killed 1 person. Yeah, so you get crew XP for things you do as a result of like how you come across it. Yeah. Outcomes. Here it is. Oops, plans, flashbacks, projects, example score. Cool. That's Blades in the Dark. And I think all the Powered by the Apocalypse systems use kind of a similar system. So I know, Rich, you were interested in that stuff. I really like Blades in the Dark. It has like a lot of like, I can do a thing. I just need to drive it sort of close, and it'll get it the rest of the way. So less restrictive, but
Yeah, a lot more freeform.
Yeah, it's very nice. I considered using it for the whole of my Arbor campaign, but it gets I wasn't sure, so I went with fuck it. I'll just do D&D.
I can imagine that it gives a very different tone for a campaign compared to a D&D game.
It does, yeah. It does. Very, like, once things started going, you noticed that things were moving very fast, very quickly. Everything was kind of like, go, 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 go. And that's the way they always seem to play out. And that's I watched, like, Let's Plays of it as well, and that's always the way it seems to play out. It's, like, designed to do that, which is good. So, cool.
No, that was good fun. Thank you very much.
Yes,
You're very
thank
welcome.
you. Ooh, I will stop the recording.
Mm-hmm.